Hello everybody, my name is Rayle Entair and welcome to episode 9 of EVE Online The Prelude, a series where I discuss all things tutorial. Now while I was gone I have trained quite a few things and bought quite a few things, so let me give you a quick refresher so you can catch up to what I have been up to. First of all with skills, I have purchased a skill called Social. Skill at Social Interaction. 5% bonus per level to NPC agent, corporation, and faction standing increase. This will increase my reputation with people as I do missions for them, which can be useful for, prices and whatnot. Speaking of prices, negotiation. Skill at agent negotiation. 5% additional pay per skill level for agent mission. Now this will be nice. This is something I'm going to want to max out later on because 25% more payday is great. I've also got Warp Drive Operation at level 2, which means I have a 20% capacitor reduction for initiating warp. Purely a quality of life thing. The big one, however, is Salvaging. Proficiency at Salvaging Shipwrecks. Required skill for the use of Salvager modules. Now this next sentence may be confusing. 100% increased chance of salvage retrieval per additional level. What does that actually mean? Well, the 100% should actually be replaced with 5%. So instead imagine that it is 5% increase in chance of salvage retrieval per level. Because the salvager model as such, let me bring it up here. Here we go. Let me close this down now. So, what do we know about the Salvager? Well, it has a range of 5,000 meters and activates once every 10 seconds. It has an access base difficulty of 5%. Plus our salvaging skill, it's now 10%. So we have a 10% chance to salvage something. However, the chance of successful salvage depends on what we're actually salvaging. Now, we are doing teeny tiny level 1 tutorial missions, meaning the wrecks we are going to salvage will have a base modifier of 30%. So we actually have a 40% success rate for salvaging wrecks, which is nice. Higher level missions and higher tech ships, such as player ships like Tech 2 modules and stuff, those tend to have lower percentages. It starts at plus 30, then plus 20, plus 10, 0, minus 10, minus 20. And minus 20 are, big high-tech like carrier wrecks and such. It's the big time salvage. Whereas a battleship, I think, is like a 10%, extra stuff like that. It tends to be the bigger and more advanced the ship, the less likely you are to succeed at salvaging. But that's why you level up the skill, and that's why you get the module. There's also rigs for it, and there's also an implant, but I digress. The point is, we can now get double the loot, because every ship you destroy leaves a wreck. Every wreck can and should be salvaged, if you have the ability to. Meaning there's no reason not to, you get free money from it. Now what can you salvage? Well, you don't salvage, say, extra, you can't just salvage a gun, for instance. No, you don't quite do that. Instead you salvage components. Now these components can be used in the construction of making rigs, which I haven't gone over rigs yet, but I will in the future, and that's when salvaging comes into play for that. So you can either keep the components yourself to make rigs, or just sell them outright. Now selling components tends to be a good way to go because some sell for not much, some sell for a few 100,000 for a single bit. So salvaging can easily double your income from anything, from killing just basic NPC pirates in the middle of nowhere to doing missions. So I've got that attached to my Atron here and my Venture, because if we go out into lower security space where NPC pirates can show up and attack us, we can destroy those pirates and salvage their wrecks while mining. Good times all around, no? But enough about salvage, let's put it into practice, huh? Hassier, you have a mission for me. You do. The cash flow for Capsuleers, 3 of 10. The miners are happy, but now we have another problem. While you were gone, a Serpentis agent has stolen some sensitive documents from the station's administrator, while some of my men were on duty. And she is, in turn, threatening to exile me if I don't retrieve the documents. You've proven reliable in the past, so I'm trusting you to take care of this. Get those documents back for me. Acquire these goods. Drop-off location is right here. Item, secret documents. Ooh, can I read them? These documents hold incriminating evidence against Maimin Chunka, implicating him with conspiracy with the Khanid rebel forces led by Deza Yobili. For those who don't know, the Khanid are one of the factions belonging to the Amar Empire, so that's a little bit of an interesting sort of political intrigue, if you will. Anyways, objectives. Destroy the pirates, loot the secret documents from the container they leave behind, and report back to your agents. The mission location is in Kuster, that's fine. We are actually granted 2 guns, but I don't need your guns, I have my own. They are more of those 75mm Gatling rails, though. The rewards are a skill book known as Propulsion Jamming. Now this will be fun. Skill at using propulsion/warp drive jammers. 5% reduction to warp scrambler, warp disruptor, and stasis web capacitor need per skill level. These are what's called tackling modules. A warp jammer does what you might think. It jams the enemy's warp engine so they can't warp away from you. This is probably the single most useful player versus player module in the game. Because you can have nice armor, or shields, and great damage, but an enemy can just warp away from you. And it's like, well, so much good your defenses do if they just fly away. But if you warp jam them, and they can't get away, then you have a fight to the death on your hands, and that's where it gets fun. So, I don't think I'm wrong in saying that, you know, warp scramblers and disruptors are probably the most used PvP modules in the entire game. So if you want to get into that, well then this is your baby right here. Stasis webs are also great because those don't stop enemies from warping, but they cut a player's speed by a ton. So let's see if I just bring up here a stasis web of fire. This baby by itself, without any bonuses, cuts an enemy's ship speed in half. Literally 50% before any like extra stuff. So that's huge. Because if they're slower, they're easier to hit. If they're easier to hit, they're easier to kill. And, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, I don't have to spot out for you, really. So this is all well and good, and I will definitely want some of this for this ship, because like I said, it's a dogfighter. And it has that 80%, if you recall here, where is it? Traits. 80% reduction in propulsion jamming systems activation cost. So this thing can actually use something like a web for almost 0 capacity, which is kind of nice. Because I want to use a capacity for this thing. Or, not capacity, what's the word? A stasis web of fire on this thing, that's what I wanted. So that's nice. I accept your mission. Kill people, bring back a document, fine by me. Bonus reward is 84,000 ISK if we complete this within 2 hours. I accept. Alright, undock. It's nice to be surrounded by tons of ship wreckages. Alrighty. Now you didn't see it there, but there was an NPC pirate called Wolf, but it was 100 kilometers away, and it seemed to warp away before I could get to it, so that's unfortunate. However, we have the cargo container right there, so that's good to see. We also have a lot of wreckages, so let's go over salvaging. Well, first off, you see here we have empty triangles and filled triangles. Filled ones mean they have loot inside of it. Now, if you salvage a wreck with loot inside of it, you don't lose the loot. The loot pops off into a cargo container in space, which you can then, well, loot yourself. So let's loot this thing here, huh? This wreck right here. It's a pile of metal. Let's lock it up. Oh. There we go. And now, salvager, much like using weapon. There we go. You can see there our salvaging gun is going to work. Successfully salvaged. Now what do we get, huh? We got a conductive polymer, which will sell for about 286 ISK, and is useful for what? Using construction of electronics. Well, there you go. Now see if we salvage the wreck that actually has loot on it. Oh, close out this pesky window here, turn on the salvaging gun. There we go. Alrighty. And again, we have roughly a 40% chance to successfully salvage these. So I failed at that time, but that's fine. You can always try again. Failed again, alright, well. Come on, third time's the charm, right? Pretty please? Yeah, aww. This message says, your salvager successfully completed its cycle. Unfortunately, there was nothing worth salvaging, is what it said. So, yes, sometimes ships will have nothing good on them, and that happens, you know? It's still always worth salvaging everything, so let's salvage the others here, just to give a good rundown. Now, this thing has a range of 5,000 meters, so we can be fairly far away while salvaging, which is very nice. This can be a bit more of a time-consuming process, but really, I don't mind. I have an hour or so to get back to Hassier for the mission. Reload my guns here, just for good measure. Alrighty. Aw, salvaging attempt failed. Now again, I could also increase my salvaging level to make it more successful. And I honestly might do that because, you know, a quality of life issue. Do you want to salvage right away, first time, all the time? Well, get a Tech 2 salvaging gun and level up your salvaging skill. Oh, failed again? Yeah, how about we actually do that, because I would like to salvage much more quickly. Let's take about 2 hours. I'm fine with that. 10 hours for the next level. A little steep. I'm not in a hurry that much. Alright, so how about I salvage all of these wrecks, take these important documents back to Hassier, and then I'll meet you back in station. Alrighty. Mission done. Complete. Yes. I read your ship's encounter analysis. As you were docking, that pirate who escaped goes by the name of Wolf. Very infamous. Not your fault, pirate. Or pilots, rather, not pirate. I'm not a pirate. Well, yet. I could be. I'm not going to, though. Alrighty, 4 out of 10. One of my patrols discovered a hidden Stargate located inside a large dead space field. Of course, Stargates are illegal without official authorization because the dead space interference means they cannot be detected by long-range scanners. My men managed to secure a bookmark to the location, but I want you to go scout out the area. Let me know what you find. Okay. Warp to the dead space area, find the Stargate, and approach it. Okay. Rewards are an afterburner. Bonus rewards for being within an hour are 44,000 ISK. Okay, this is far simpler than anything else, so I accept. And undock. Okay, we have an interesting mission. Ship's computer aura says, "My sensors have found nothing in the area other than this lone Stargate, partly hidden inside a cluster of rock formations. I would advise you to proceed with care. Smuggler gates such as these are rarely left unattended. Your agent instructed you to approach the Stargate. Be ready to retreat should the need arise." Okay. 17 kilometers away, huh? Very well. This is a little interesting here. I expect an ambush. Will there be an ambush? We'll find out soon. I do move at 500 meters a second, so I can move 1 kilometer every 2 seconds. So, yeah, won't take long to get next to this thing. What's gonna happen? Let's veer off. I don't actually want to ram into it if I can help it. Yoink! Went through it. Yep. Nothing so far. Oh! I heard an alarm. What's happening? Ah! Oh, poisonous gas. Not good. Get out of there. Get out of there. Or not. I guess it's what? Radiation, I'm guessing? Maybe. Let's get out of there. Phew. Yikes. Alright, well. Let's dock and tell Hassier what we've uncovered then, shall we? Alright, not so bad. Hassier. Complete. Ah. Sorry about the damage to your ship. Once you've taken care of that, think about fitting that afterburner I gave you. It should help you get out next time it becomes necessary to move your ship quickly. I very well might do that. Let's request mission first. Alright. It appears the Stargate you explored was only put up to attract our attention. After you left the area, our cleanup crew found a message from that pirate who got away earlier, the one called Wolf. Seems he wants to meet you, in person, with no backup, at a small repair outpost in this system. You don't have to kill the man, but I'd appreciate if you went out there and at least found out what this is all about. Listen, there's more that you should know about this Wolf. Last year, he murdered one of our agents, Greyer Versoon, and I owe it to Versoon's memory to follow this through. But I want you to be careful. Wolf is a very dangerous man. Are you sure it's not a canine? Anyway, if you're willing to take this mission, I can provide you with a civilian thermic dissipation field. It's not much, but it will improve your shield's resistance against thermal damage, which was one of the damage types Serpentis vessels dish out. Galentian technology usually revolves around armor repair, but this should see you through, for now. Okay. Meet up with the pirate at the repair outpost. Follow his instructions, and then report back to your agent. He gives us this repair thingy, or the thermic dissipation field. What's it really do for us, huh? Well, when we activate it, it'll activate every 10 seconds, with an upkeep cost of 25 gigajoules per 10 seconds, and while it's activated, it gives us a 20% to shield thermal resistance, which would bring us from 20 to about 40. Okay, well, hooray, I guess. The shield management skill is a reward, which is not a bad reward. That's not a bad reward, actually. I'll probably train that up, because that'd be nice to have. Skill at regulating a spaceship's shield systems. 5% bonus to shield capacity per skill level. Yeah, I'll probably level that up quite a bit there. Again, we rely on armor, but, you know, I don't want to leave the shields completely unleveled and such. Bonus reward is 70,000 ISK. Hour and a half to do so, huh? Alright. Well, I'll accept that later. For now, let me sell off some of the stuff I've gotten from salvage. Let's drag the stuff in the item hanger and deal with it. Metal scraps I will just sell. That's just how I do things. Propulsion jamming, I'll inject it, but I won't train it just yet. I will later, though. Stack these up. Let's see here. We have another piece of salvage I got. Damaged artificial neural network. I'll sell that. 257 ISK. Not a ton. This was up for 274. Also not a ton, so, you know. Overall, I've lost money from buying the salvager, but again, it will pay for itself really quickly. Because eventually you get really good salvage that sells for quite a bit. Do I want to make any more ammo? I've got 612 bits of ammo in my cargo ready to go. I'm not worried about going through that much. So I think I'm fine for now. I do have antimatter if I need ammo for whatever reason for that. I have 2 afterburners. You know what? Let's actually talk about afterburners real quick, because that's kind of, you know, it might come up. Could be useful. What does an afterburner do? Gives a boost to the maximum velocity of the ship when activated. The thrust that boosts the ship, and the corresponding maximum velocity bonus, are limited by the mass of the ship that uses this module. Note, this is a frigate class afterburner. There are frigate, cruiser, and battleship classes for afterburners. So very well, this has an activation cost of 20 gigajoules, and it activates once every 10 seconds. While active, it will increase your maximum velocity by 112%. That's pretty good. That is pretty dang good. And of course there are skills I can increase that and lower the capacitor. I mean, the afterburner skill out by itself, you know, actually lowers, let's see here, yeah, skill using afterburners. 5% reduction to afterburner duration and a 10% reduction in afterburner capacitor use. So it makes the duration lessened, but also lowers the capacitor need, so overall balances out. Which I like. The reason it's actually kind of an interesting, almost downside is that because the duration is then less, you have to actually activate it more, which means you spend more capacitor to use it. But since it also gives the capacitor decrease, never mind. All in all, it's worth it. That's what I'm trying to get at here. And the reason it lowers the actually reducing the duration of the afterburner can actually be a benefit, because then you can have more control over your speed you're going at. Because you may only want the extra speed for 3 seconds, but the afterburner is still going for that 7 seconds afterward, so you have that awkward speed difference there. So it's kind of nice to have a bit more control over what speed you're going at. Either way, this is a nice thing to have. And sure, why not? I'll buy the afterburner skill. Oop. Obey me. Markets, obey me. There we go. I will buy this. Ka-ching! Well, it doesn't make that noise, but you get my meaning. Train now to level 1, because I actually think I will use an afterburner. So, what do we got then, huh? I think it said 8 minutes to train. Yep, 8 minutes to train, and 22 minutes, or 24 minutes rather, until my salvaging's leveled up. Nice, well in that case I will wait just a second here for afterburner to be done. Alright, the skill is done. Let's equip this thing then, shall we? Afterburner, can we have it? Yep, it costs a fair amount of power grid. Well, 10, but for our frigate, that's literally a quarter of it, so yeah, I will add it though. Alrighty, it is now equipped. Now, if we have the armor repairer off, we are stable, so there you go. So, without this, so let's see here, normally we will fly at a speed of 504 meters a second. With this turned on, though, we fly at a speed of 1,052 meters per second. And that's pretty darn fast. I like that a lot. That would be good for catching up to faraway enemies, or even fleeing enemies. All in all, I'm pretty happy with that. I think next time we will do the next mission here, where we meet this wolf in person. Maybe. Or is it a trap? We don't know. No one knows. We'll find out next time, though. This has been Rayle Entair, signing off. Till then, viewers, take care. Bye-bye.